Hello, how are you? Hope you are all fine. Previously, we have learned what is SQL and we have used how to create a database using SQL, then use it to make it our current database, and then we have used SQL to create a table, then to insert the rows, and then we have seen how to display all the rows in the table. So let's do it once more. First thing first, we need to type a password that is Ram for me, and here I'm in my SQL prompt, and then you have to use a database or make a database a current database. For this, either you should be knowing your database name or you can see all the databases in your system. So I know I have created a db1 database, so I have changed it. Now we can see show tables to see how many tables this database contains. Actually it contains only one table, that is emp, and to display all the records we just need to use select asterisk from emp. So here is my rows. Okay, so you can see I have plenty of rows. Now today we are going to see how to insert a rows, and how to insert a rows if we know only some of the columns, some of the values, right? For example, we can insert a row which contains all the values, or we can use an insert statement to give only values to a certain fields. For example, this is a primary key, we need to give a value to this, rest we can ignore it using an insert statement. So let's try and see what are the flavors of insert statement. So first thing first, we are going to insert the row which contains all the values. So insert into, that's the table name, then we have our values, then consecutively we have to insert the values. First of all, we need to give emp number, then name, job, manager, hire date, sales, commission, and department number. Okay, so one by one. For me, this will be 606 comma, the name is Arjun this time, and then a job is, let's say, salesman, and mgr remains the null, and then hire date, okay, that's fine, null, and salary, and that's a 10,000. Commission is equals to null, and okay, commission may be increased to 100, and department number, let's be 30. So we have provided values to each and every field. In between we have also specified null value. If you like, you can specify other values as well, but the bottom line is that I have given the values for each and every column in my table. Okay, so now again select a strip from emp. Now you can see my new row is inserted. Okay, now what if I know only two values or three values? Let's say I'm talking about emp number, name, and salary. I know this much only, rest I do not know. I want to insert null values. One way is to give null values to the corresponding column. The other way is to specify a list of a column for which I'm going to supply values and ignore all the other columns. So let's choose this second option, insert into. So now table name, after that I have to supply the list of columns, that is emp number comma emp name. Be careful of giving name, it should be same as we have defined in our table, and then I can specify the salary. So I'm going to supply only three values, and then values, and then I have to supply values, first emp number, then emp name, and then cell. So in a same order in which I have supplied a column name. Okay, so 6007 comma, let's say Mohit, and then the salary goes, let's say 40,000, then put a semicolon, and let's hit enter and see whether it is working or not. So my SQL says query okay, one row affected, and if I try to use a select district from emp, it will display the inserted row. Now you can see Mohit 6007, null, mgr, high date, null, only cell. So in this way also you can insert. Make sure you supply a column list, and in the same order you need to supply corresponding values. So 6007 goes to EMP number, Mohit goes to EMP name, and 40,000 goes in salary. Okay, now let us talk about how to update a particular row. Okay, to do that we need to use a update statement. Now you can easily guess update modifies the values, so it is a data manipulation language. It is not a DDL language, as insert is also a data manipulation language, but counterpart to this we are using a create statement or create table statement to create a table. That was the part of a data definition language. So let's use this data manipulation language called update. Then we need to specify the table name emp, and then we can use a class called set. Now we need to supply a column name. For example, now I know the name or a job of Mohit. He is a president here, okay, or something else. Let's call him clerk. That's fine. So let's say job is equals to clerk. You can use single quote or a double quote to supply values, and then we need to supply a where clause. Now in where clause I can supply any condition like EMP number is equals to 6007 or EMP name is equals to Mohit. Okay, so this time I will be using EMP number is equals to 6007, and let's have a semicolon and hit enter and check out whether it works for me or not. Okay, so now you can see now Mohit has a job called clerk, right? Now what if I want to manipulate or update multiple values? Okay, let's say we are going to supply a manager also and hire date also or commission also. Let's do that. So first thing first, emp update set job is equals to clerk. I don't want this job, actually I need mgr. This time I'm going to supply a mgr is, let's say, who is the manager. Let's say 5221 is the manager, and hire date, let's it be hire date, let it be 2020 dash 07 dash 26. Okay, so this be the hire date, and then we can supply what else, let's say commission this time. So commission may be 500 rupees. That's it. So how, let us see how we have framed this query. First thing first, we have given a column name, then supply its value, then we have supplied another column name followed by a comma equals to another value. It's a date, so we have to specify a date in a particular format. That's YYY dash mm dash dd, and then supply another column. Now notice at the last, when I supply the last column and its value, I didn't supply a comma here. You have to remember that also. And then we can supply a where clause. Where clause is completely optional. Okay, you may supply if you need it, and if you want to modify all the rows, you can simply skip it. Let's hit enter and see the result. Now you can see my values are supplied. Now instead of supplying a date, we can supply a function. For example, for Arjun, we didn't supply a hire date. I'm going to supply a function or specify a function called now to specify the date. Let's do that. Update, let's say emp set hire date is equals to now. It's a function where, let's say, emp number is equals to 6006. Okay, semicolon. Okay, my date is changed. Let's see, select asterisk from emp, and now you can see my date is inserted. Okay, So here how I can supply a function. Now let us see, if I didn't supply a where clause, I want to increase all the salary by, let's say, 50 rupees, and I want to update all the records. So I need not to supply a where clause. So let's check it out how we can do it. Update emp set cell is equals to cell plus 10. Okay, so now here what will happen? First of all, right hand side of the expression cell plus 10 will be evaluated, and it will be assigned, the value will be assigned to the cell column. Okay, so see, you can see I have 13 rows, all the 13 rows has changed. Let's see the result. Now you can see my values are increased by 10. So for Lakshman, previous was 1000, or sorry, 10,000, and now it is 1010. So this is how you can supply the values. Okay, now notice when you use a update command, it will change your data permanently. Okay, now if you close this, let's say I'm going to close this one by typing exit, so it closes, and if I open it again, and supply the password, use db1, select a string from emp, and let's hit enter. Now you can see my values are still changed. So if I specify or execute an update command, it changes my data permanently. But sometimes we can write a query like this also. Let's say select a string from emp, or let's say emp name comma, let's say cell multiplied by cell plus 10. Okay, let's say cell plus 200 this time, and if I use this command, it will simply display the result. Okay, and if I try to use a simple query to retrieve all the records, it doesn't modify any record. See, my values are still the same, 10,010. It is not modified to 10,210. Okay, so select do not modifies any value, but update permanently modifies the value. You have to notice this. So let us conclude this video. Today we have learned how to insert rows. We can supply all the values, and we can supply some value by specifying the column list, but we have to make sure we supply the values in the same sequence in which we have supplied the column names. Okay, and then we have learned how to update the data in an existing table. We can update a single value or multiple values or all the records by specifying a where clause. Right, that's all for today. Hope you have enjoyed it. Bye bye, see you.